If somebody that I talk to after 30 minutes is not sure, then I say, okay, that's not gonna work because there's a trust issue in the partnership which is gonna reflect and not be fun over time.
Hello everybody. Today I'm here with Jean-Philippe Claude. Hi Jean-Philippe.
Hi Nick.
How's it going, man?
Awesome.
Good, good. I have the pleasure to have Jean-Philippe today. We're at St. Lucie. It's a beautiful weather and it's sunny over here. And we would like to take the time to present a few interesting ideas that we decided with Jean-Philippe that would benefit all of you. Jean-Philippe, finally, he's the president of Real Estate Investors Club, which is affiliated to Le Club Immobilier du Québec. It's an interesting branch. They're developing the English-speaking populations of investors. They're also offering a lot of courses, coaching, and what else? Did I miss anything, Jean-Philippe?
Networking events.
Okay.
Every month, networking events where we receive keynote speakers, very interesting as well. But yeah, overall
yes,
that was it.
Absolutely. Yeah. We had big names at these events. It was great.
Yeah, very good speaker, very interesting, and like it's $20 to get at the door, very cheap also to hear some keynote speaker, very interesting.
Awesome, thank you very much. One of the coaching, one of the subjects you develop in your organization is partnerships.
That's correct.
Right?
Yeah.
This is what we would like to talk about, partnership. We want to demystify the myth behind partnership, and Jean-Philippe is well positioned to take us through this little journey. So Jean-Philippe, what exactly are you talking about when we're talking about partnership in real estate? Okay.
Well, first of all, there's two types of partnership. There's active partnership that you can actually partner with someone that will do active work. So with another person that is going to be complementary to you. And there's passive partnership, which we're going to discuss mainly today. So active partnership, that's another subject. Passive partnership is when you do have a property, interesting deal that you want to optimize, a flip that you want to do, and you don't have the capital ready for that project. It can be your first project or second, third, or fifth project, and you don't have the capital for this project. So you raise capital through a partnership with a passive investor. So that's basically the basic of a passive partnership. It's very, very interesting depending on where you are in your business in real estate to leverage that money to increase or start in the business.
It's one of the ways to buy without money.
That's correct. That's one of the things I've did most. I probably did at least a 10 to 15 partnership with different passive investors. It goes fast and you buy without money. So basically, if you go back to the return on investment equation, when there's no capital invested, in the property, so you make money out of nothing. So basically, your return on investment is infinite on this project. And everybody's win-win in a passive partnership because you have a good opportunity and the person who chips in the money also receive a very, very good return on investment.
Excellent. And you think, what are the criteria for someone who wants to do that? You have to trade your money, your time.
Yep. Again.
To find the deals.
Yep.
And then you have to have a great presentation because he has to be reliable. He has to inspire trust and know that what you're talking about, right? And then you can approach investors and I guess get their attention like this.
That's absolutely. And to be honest, I'm not too fancy about presentation. It's only like just a blank page but on that blank page, there's anything the investor needs to know.
And in your head.
Yeah, you need to know the project. You need to build trust. Usually it closes within 10-15 minutes. Okay, so it's 10-15 minutes with the passive investor. Here's the project, and you need to be honest. You need to be fully trustable. Like you said, you need to build trust. So everything that can go wrong needs to be on that sheet. All the numbers predicted needs to be on that sheet, and you need to have like plan A, B, C, and build trust with the passive investor so he feels comfortable in your deal.
Absolutely. And why would a passive investor invest?
Right now, it's a very hot market. Like most of you know, And it's really hard to find deals out there. So the value right now is all about prospection and finding the good opportunity and build up also, not only find the deal, but build up the plan of that property, what you're gonna do and the value after. And it's very interesting for a passive investor to chip in the money, especially in my partnership. I always aim for money back within a year. So the partner chips in the money for a year for X amount of equity, and we can discuss that later, for X amount of the equity, and we optimize property and we refinance after a year. The refinance cover all the down payments, the renovation, anything that needed to be done to optimize this property, and the cash goes back to the investor, and depending on the deal again, he keeps the equity in the building. So basically it's 100% return on investment that the investors got.
And I know you're good at this, and that's why I'm going to ask you the question, because recently I've heard and I've helped a active investor, you would call the one who does all the work?
Yep.
And an active investor approaching a passive investor, and I spoke after to the passive investor, and he thought like, I'm not sure, you know, I'm putting all the money. I own this property. Why wouldn't I be able to buy it yourself? Obviously, there's what you said. You got to find the deal, and then how, as an active investor, you inspire that trust in the passive investor?
That's very interesting, because all the time the same question comes
all
the time. And I talk to investor and they say, oh, why are you letting equity in the deal? And you talk to investor, I say, I put 100% of the cash. It's like, what's my protection there? But you know what? I would say 9 times out of 10, my passive investor chips in the money because I give him the best investment product in the world. Like you cannot beat that. Like take that money, go into the stock market, go everywhere else. This is the deal I'm showing to you, and it's a good deal. If you have a good deal, I mean, the investor will want to chip the money in and will want to chip the money again and again and again. So it's something that you're going to use along your career. I mean, we had Luc Poirier at the Semaine des Millionnaires, and he's still buying land with investors as well. So it's something that you're going to use.
Because it's leverage.
It's right? Leverage. You don't have the money, you find a partner, you leverage in, and you give equity to your partner. But to answer your question, yeah, like both sides are like, why should I put all the money? And then the investors say, why should I let go equity? But that's a win-win situation. And yeah, you build trust. You build trust with a track record. Like in real estate, basically the rule of thumb is 50-50. The one who brings the cash gets 50. Okay. The one who buys the property gets 50. That's rule of thumb. But when you start, you want to build trust. So I would say if the passive investor wants 70 and you have 30 and that's the only option available, do it. Build your track record of success, and then that percentage of equity that goes to the investor will get lower and lower and lower over time to that. So yeah.
As the risk goes down, as an experience goes up, people are willing to take more equity and give you the same amount of money, right? So you have to build that.
Yeah, that you build that trust, and that percentage of equity will go down. The important is get into action, do some deals, and build track record out of it, and make sure they're good deals, and that the investors want to invest again. So
awesome. Thank you. Is there anything else you would like to say about shareholder agreement? Because I know you deal with this, and it's very important to have one, because there's many situations that could happen in a partnership, especially, I mean, you guys are not married for 10 years, you don't know the other person, but you want to build that paperwork so that you know exactly what the solutions are in case of conflict. It might not get there, and it probably won't, but you still need that, right?
You still need that. You need, I think you need both. You need trust, and you need the shareholder agreement. Funny thing is when I sign the shareholder agreement with my partner, I give them the paper and I'm telling them, you know what, if I want to screw you, I can still screw you. And this is where I start, because I mean, it's so easy. I can do renovation and renovate my home and put that on the building, and I'm going to screw you. So you need to have trust. The shareholder agreement covers the large aspect of a partnership, but trust needs to be there between the both of you, okay? So you need to have trust. But shareholder agreement, talking about this, is first, get a lawyer, okay? This is not legal advice or anything. Just go see a lawyer. They're just expert in shareholder agreement. But talking about when you pass away, what happened? If I don't complete my job as an optimizer, what happened? I want to sell my share. What happened? So there's a few things that's going to be covered over a shareholder agreement that you're going to have with your lawyer. But again, this is legal document. Trust needs to be there as well. That's the most important thing that you want to have. So that's why in 10-15 minutes, you can build trust and you can build confidence with the real estate, with a passive investor. And he's going to say right now.
And how do you build trust?
Yeah. Well, track record is definitely one of them. So you need to have a good track record over trust and being genuine. Like you need to be trustworthy. Don't hide anything. If you hide something over your body language, it will be shown. You will not be confident. Something will feel weird, and the passive investor will not invest. Again, 15 minutes.
Really?
If somebody that I talk to after 30 minutes is not sure, then I say, okay, that's not going to work because there's a trust issue in the partnership which is going to reflect and not be fun over time.
Wow, that's a good advice. I think most people would spend 3, 4 hours, 10 hours over details, and still people wouldn't be convinced because the trust is not there.
There you go. And sometimes on that little sheet of paper, sometimes there's not even a picture of the building sometimes. So there's
Okay, that's another level.
Like people are asking me, like, can you send me your template email? It's just like bullet points of like numbers, what can go wrong, what can go well, and the expected numbers. And after that, do you have any questions? And if they say, well, should I invest with you because I put 100% of the cash? I say, well, you're not forced to invest. Go somewhere else. And at the end, it always happens.
Wow.
Always happens.
Interesting.
Yep.
I mean, you're definitely a man that inspire trust, you know. And I know you've been in a few transactions together.
Yep.
And so far, I have one question because a lot of people ask me, what would you use a broker for in order to buy real estate when you could go directly see the vendor? Like, what's the advantage you think is good, especially when you're in partnership as well?
Yeah, well, yeah, you build trust with the real estate broker, and when you build a relation with the real estate broker, also he knows you, and a good real estate broker also will give advice on the property, which you do sometimes. I mean, we talk together, and sometimes you say, JP, I don't think this is a good deal, or also they get a feeling, they get a sense of the owner, especially when they do have the listing, so they know the owner of the building, and give precious hints on how to start that relationship. That it's also built on trust. It's all about human communication and trust, and being truthful to seller as well. So yeah, real estate broker definitely. Bought most of my deal on MLS, by the way. So
some people say there's no deal.
There's no deal on MLS. I would say 80% of all the transactions I bought were directly on MLS.
And you're also doing. That brings me to say that you're also doing one of the events, formation.
Yep.
On how to find deals.
The exact name is how to transform overpriced property into deals. That's a very tough name for a class, but yeah, it's all about. I can't stress enough the fact that Montreal right now has huge potential. I mean, I don't say don't look at the numbers, but at one point, I don't even care about the revenue of the property anymore. I care about how can I optimize, how can I squeeze the juice out of a property and generate the income. So I don't say don't look at the numbers, but potential as such.
Don't look at the cap rate.
Well, the first thing I look in a listing is the price, obviously, number of doors, the size also of the apartments, because it will tell me how can I optimize this. And then I look at energy, and the last thing I look is net revenue and cap rate. That's the last thing I look now in listing.
And it's the first thing you look when you see where the property is going.
There you go.
Right?
Because
it's like when Luc Poirier was saying, when you buy land, and it's about the same thing, right? Look at where you want to be, and then discount what you have to do and how much you have to pay.
It's exactly this. So this is the first thing I look is optimize how much I can refinance after a year, and then I deduct renovation, like acquisition costs, initial costs, and then I try to fit in as much as possible cash back within a year, which I know brings me investors like
like
this because it's a really, really interesting.
That's why your coaching are so good, because you break this down and you bring this this new perspective.
There you go. Yeah, there's a bunch of real estate training out there, mainly in French. They're all good, but I think the club, the strong fact about the Club d'Investissement, it's been going on since 2001 first, and there's also a lot of on-ground experience, like negotiating with tenants, negotiating with vendors, and there's a lot of experience there. Very interesting. So theoretical and also practical expertise.
Theory and practical. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Yeah. Well, it's just you know, I'm gonna bring back Luke again here, because we just had his panel and he was saying it's not how much it costs, it's how much you can make.
That's it.
Right?
That's what you sell. That's what you sell. It's an equity business, not a cash flow business. So how much equity can you create? And this is where the leverage is incredible. I mean, it's times 20. So every dollar that you optimize outside of property, right, in Montreal, I'm saying, but it's around 20, you can say 20 around the province of Quebec, everything is multiplied by 20. You generate $1, at the end it's $20 more in equity, and you can refinance $15 out of that $20 equity. It's just magical. It's just magical.
Wow. Well, GP, thank you for being here, and I would like to underline that GP is the president of the English-speaking division of Club Immobilier du Québec, and your coaching and your programs are based on the experience of the Club Immobilier.
That's correct, exactly. If we follow the same path of the Club d'Investissement Immobilier, since we're a smaller group, we do also do deal visit in the field, so that's pretty cool too. So we go see property and make promise to purchase with people. All action goes with the theoretical classes.
Wow, I love it. And I will recommend everybody who's interested to go see GP and the information on the website to get to know the club better. And I really think you inspire a lot of trust. I have always good comments about what you do and what you offer to people. And I'm really happy that you decided to share with the people.
Always a pleasure. Can I add something on PMML also? Talking about the club at PMML. Love the team. Love you, obviously, Nick. They're the best. They're the best out there. So if you hesitate of taking one real estate broker, they're incredible. So don't hesitate.
Thank you. I'm very pleased. Thanks. Thanks a lot, guys. Thank you.
Hey, Nick. All right.
Ciao.
Have a good Millionaire week.
Yes.